Hi guys, welcome back to Casually Crafted. My name is Ashley and this is Crafty Chat number 69. And I just realized that I haven't put any makeup on today, but at this point it's like 10 o'clock at night, so we're just gonna go with it. So I know it's been a little while since I've been on here again. The month of March kind of kicked my butt. I had a lot of a few extra church responsibility type things going on, and then it was spring break and then Easter, and then I had a craft fair the first week of April, and so it was a lot. So so all I'm going to show you today is the finished Easter dresses. And if you follow me over on Instagram, I did post pictures on Easter of my girls wearing them. But I'll show you those, and then I'll talk to you about how the craft fair went, and that's going to be it for today. Because all of my projects were the Easter dresses and things for the craft fair. I don't think I have anything else finished right now, and haven't started up on my whips that I put down to work on craft fair stuff. So yeah, so we'll just get into the dresses. So the first one on top of the pile, I guess we'll do oldest to youngest. So for my 10-year-old, hers I wanted to be just basically one big square top. I used the doodad pattern by Hooked on Sunshine, and so there's hers. So hers I ended up doing a shirt and a skirt, so this is just the shirt part. So my original plan was to make this big enough that it could basically just go straight across and be just kind of hang out here, but she felt like it was choking her too high up, so she asked me to make I added like a few double crochet rows here, and then the back panel I chose to do a moss stitch in the round. I didn't want to do it stripes because the yarn's kind of stripy. I didn't want to do it back and forth because this goes from center out, so I did a center out pattern here, and then I also added a few rows of moss stitch there. Not as many, so the back is higher than the front. And so all of these were made with, I have one ball band on, this ice yarns and what was it called? It's not even on there. It was like Magic Cottonac or something like that, and I think it was 6 balls, and it's pretty much gone. I'll show you here in a minute how much is left after doing all 3 of these. So what I chose to do on all of them is, because some of the edges needed to be more finished, this one wasn't as bad, but so we went to my mom's house for spring break, so I brought the dresses and finished them there. But so the white is this Lion Brand Baby Soft that looks like I got at Joann's. It was on clearance, and this is just called Baby White Pompadour. So it's just white with a little bit of shiny white going through it, and I believe I think it's a 3-weight somewhere. Yeah, it's a 3-weight, so it's a little thinner than the yarn that I used. I don't know if this is technically a 4-weight, but it feels like a 4-weight, so we're gonna call that. So anyway, here's hers. I kind of left a little slit in the bottom, and then it was weird when I was doing the border, so I don't love how that kind of pokes out, but it's okay. And then for her skirt, I was being very lazy and trying to get it done quick with the edging, so the elastic part I didn't fold over and make pretty. I just kind of sewed the elastic on, and it just kind of hangs. And the same thing with the bottom edges on all of these. I just folded it up once and hemmed it. I didn't fold it over twice and hide all the raw edges. So some of these have strings starting to come off that I'll have to cut off. But like I said, I was kind of in a hurry, and wanted to get it done. So I'll post a picture of her wearing that. Okay, so the next one is for my 6-year-old. So I think when I showed you guys last, I had to rearrange, since then I had to rearrange the way the hexagons were. So I think this is the front. So here is the top part with the skirt. It's a little wrinkly because it's been just hanging out since we got home. So these, the way I had her hexagons laid out before, I didn't give her enough of an armhole, and she's a little bit stockier than my older one. They're basically like the same size around, but she's just shorter because, you know, she's younger. So this ended up being, well, so I had to search for like other ways to lay out hexagons, and I like didn't want to have to make a bunch of more hexagons because I knew I was going to run out of yarn. So I found this kind of layout where you put a half hexagon here, because before I think I just had these two kind of next to each other, and I don't even remember. I might have pictures of how I had it laid out. So what I ended up doing is I needed a lot more half hexagons than I had, and so I ended up undoing a few of the full hexagons and then remaking them into half hexagons. And I tried to do the join. I don't know what join I did. I'd have to look it up and maybe I'll post it. But I wanted it to add a little bit extra space in between. I didn't want to do like this one I did. I think I just did a mattress stitch, or the mattress stitch where you just, it's kind of more invisible. But I wanted to add a little bit more because I knew it was going to be a little tight on her. So then for her border, I added a little bit more white at the bottom because I was trying to kind of loosen it in a way, make it less tight on her where the fabric was going to be. But it was a little tight. It was a little difficult getting it on, and she was a good sport about it. But she was like, after church, she's like, "Hey, can we take this off now?" I was like, "Yeah, we can." So yeah, there's the front. And technically these are reversible. There's not really much of a front and back besides I put like the edging on the back. I don't know. The seam part of the, where I sewed the bottom hem, I think it's in the center back. Anyway, alright, so for my 3-year-old, hers ended up being a little big. So that's fun. It wasn't way too big, but so what happened is hers, when I tried it on her, this is the size of the original square, these ones here. When I tried it on her, with it's all stitch marked together, not sewn together, they were like gaping, so I knew I couldn't have them be like exactly tight without it being too tight on her. So what I did was, on all these bottom ones, I did like a join as you go join, but I added an extra half double crochet around. So the pattern doesn't have that. I just kind of added that, but that ended up adding a little bit too much width, I think. So it's just a little loose on her. It wasn't really bad. And then these I joined with the mattress stitch because they didn't need extra width or anything. And so her border is just little on the arms and the head hole. The only thing I did, I kind of made up a new stitch, I think. I don't know. For this border part, it's hard to see, but I ended up doing like the crab stitch, how you go backwards the other way. But I was doing half double crochets instead of single crochets. So it almost made, I don't know if you can see, a little like puff almost. So that's what I did there. Not sure if you can really tell, but oh, and then for those two, I just hand sewed the lining onto the crochet. So you can maybe see some of the stitches there. So that was a little bit time consuming, but that's okay. yeah, I think that's everything that I had to say. Um, the idea of this was to, this length was supposed to match up with this length, but it wasn't perfect, so I did have to add a little bit of like random pleats as I was sewing along, but I think they turned out okay, especially when you're wearing them. You don't see all the different things like that. So, yeah, I finished the last one probably, I don't know, around lunchtime, maybe a little after lunchtime on the day before Easter. So I got them done. And at the same time, I was working on a bunch of stuff for the craft fair. Here is what I had left. So this is one of the hexagons I was taking apart. So, and then this, it was all that was left. So I knew that wasn't going to be enough to make any of the borders, so I just did white on all of them to keep them all kind of uniform and together and looking the same. Hold on a sec. Okay, so now I will talk about the craft fair a little bit. So I've never done a craft fair before. 3 summers ago, I attempted to do an outdoor farmers market in our city. So I had some stuff made from back then, and I only was able to go to like 2 of those. Like, it was free, so that was good, but I only made like 2 of those nights because my husband was doing softball and my kids were in soccer. And so if he had softball practice, I would have to take them to soccer, and it just like ended up not working out very well. And the 2 times that I did go, I hardly sold anything. I hardly had anything to sell, and it wasn't like that exciting. And the wind was horrible, and it blew over like the pegboard that I made to hold all my necklaces and stuff. So I decided I'm never doing another outdoor thing in Wyoming ever. Like, it's dumb. So so a few months ago, I found out about this one. It was at my girls' elementary school. It was like a PTO fundraiser thing. They'd never done it before. I've never done this before, so it was all like a new experience. It was $45 for a 10x10 area, and it was just in their gym and cafeteria. They're kind of connected. And my mom came and joined me. So my mom paints. She like follows like tutorials online and paints like their designs, and the people she paints have given permission for them to go and then sell their stuff. Just like, we make other people's patterns and we can go sell the stuff. She just has to give credit that, hey, I didn't make up this painting, but I painted it. So she came, and so our booth, she shared a booth with me because she's never sold any of her stuff either. So it was just kind of a let's figure this out together type of thing. So when we got there to set up, they were giving us a little bit extra space because somebody had backed out. So the few people in our area, I think we each got like an extra foot or so, which was nice because with the 2 of us having different like display things and tables, it was good. So the way it worked is everybody kind of walked in through the cafeteria doors, and then there was a few of us there at the cafeteria. Then you go down some stairs into the gym. So normally during school, there's like a wall between the stairs and before you get to the stairs. So the cafeteria doesn't have stairs in it, but the gym does. And so we were the first people when you walked into the door. So with our little bit extra space, and then they gave us like the little corner by the door, even though that was kind of out of our space, as long as we left like a walkway to get in, they let us do that. So we kind of had to figure out how we wanted to set up the layout, and it kind of worked, and it was like good in some ways, because we kind of had some of our stuff so you could cut like a U with the door, like the main entrance over here, so they could come in and look at some of our stuff right here. But then I had another table facing out, so the stuff on it was facing out, so people that were coming up the stairs saw those things and wanted to come over and look. It just was a little weird if somebody came into the tables and then they were looking on the backside of that other table. So I don't know if there's a way to make it so you have stuff facing both ways and not be weird. But anyway, so I'll post a little clip that I took of how we had it set up. And I was going to take an after, but I forgot. Because people started to clean up at like 2:30 and it's supposed to go till 3. And I was like, I don't want to clean up early. Like, what if somebody wants to still buy something? And then we were like, fine, we'll just clean up. So I forgot to take like after pictures. But I will, since I didn't show everything on this channel of what I made, because I showed some of the first things that I made, as far as like I showed like the frog things because they were like right after we did the February frog stuff, and then I was just busy making stuff and never made another video. So I'm just gonna go through kind of what sold, and then in order of what sold the most, and I'll pop in pictures because I think I took pictures of like the layout on the table at home so I could decide how to set things up. So they might not be the best pictures, but I will post some of those pictures here as we talk. So this first one, I have to explain a little bit. There, somebody on Instagram, it smells something, I don't remember her whole thing. She has a pattern for what she calls a no fuss pet fish or something like that. So she makes a little goldfish out of burlap blanket yarn and then like sells them in a little bowl, and she has like a little adoption center sign and sells stuff that way. So I thought that was a really cute idea. I did download her Canva template for her signage, but I changed it because I didn't want to just do fish. So I changed it to, and she says you can do that, you pay for the download like on Etsy, and you're allowed to edit it at that point. So I changed it to aquarium adoption center or something like that, and you could either buy the animal by itself or with a bowl. So while we were in Colorado for spring break, we went to a few thrift stores and got a whole bunch of just glass bowls that could be little fish bowls, and then I got some rocks at the dollar store. So we had different types of rocks and different shaped bowls just out on the table, and as they sold, we'd put some out. Then I had a little display of all of the animals that I made that were like aquarium animals. So the things I had were turtles, sharks, octopuses, fish, whales, and then a few crabs and one stingray. I only made one stingray because he ended up being a little bigger than everything else, and he wasn't going to fit in the same size bowls. So I just had him there kind of extra. And one of the turtles was also a little on the big side, and so then I found a different pattern for a smaller turtle. So only one turtle was a little bit big, and then the rest were pretty tiny. So I sold 13 of those with a bowl and 3 just singular without a bowl. I sold 3 of the octopuses, and I'll try to post all the links. A lot of these are Instagram patterns, like free no-sew Instagram patterns. I know the crab was a paid for pattern, but So I sold 3 octopuses, 3 fish, 2 crabs, 6 turtles, 1 shark, and then I did sell the stingray. I'll show you. So my kids chose to then claim some of what hasn't been sold. So I'll show you real quick. So this is one of the whales, and my 3-year-old picked this whale in this bowl. This is the only bowl that we found kind of like this. Most of them are actual bowls. But she really loves yellow right now, so you see all our fingerprints all over that. So that's her one. And then this one I kept because I don't know why, I just thought the crab with the natural rocks in this little size bowl was pretty cute. And then my 10-year-old. So a lot of the bowls we found were this size. So so this is not the same fish pattern. It's a different fish pattern than what they used. But she wanted this one from the beginning. She's like, if that one doesn't sell, I want it. So, and again, the kind of naturally rocks in there. And then my 6-year-old wanted an octopus. So she has a green octopus. And I think her bowl is like this, but with black rocks. So yeah, I think I might have pictures, but those are just examples of ones in the bowls. And yeah. So from there, so I sold 16 of those animals altogether. Hold on a second. Okay, so then the next one I just categorized as silly birds. So this is the pattern by the Friendly Red Fox, I believe, for her silly goose pattern. And I showed you like the startings of these ones, I think. So what I sold is one. So I made some with Bernat blanket yarn like her pattern calls for. Well, I think she used Premier, whatever blanket yarn they have, but the bigger yarn. And then I made some small ones with the Premier Parfait Chunky. So I sold one goose and one mallard duck in the large size. And then I sold 2 yellow ducks, 2 mallard ducks, and 1 flamingo of the Premier Parfait. So I only had 1 flamingo left of the little ones. And then I had a goose and 2 flamingos left of the big ones. From there, I sold 7 little dinosaurs. So I had 2 types of dinosaurs. I had Stegosaurus ones, and I followed the pattern, I'm pretty sure exactly the way the pattern is for the Stegosauruses, and I sold 3 of those. And then the other ones they're like T-Rex type ones. There's a few, I tried a few different patterns, so there's a few random ones in there. The pattern that I did end up doing, I adjusted it because it is a no-sew, but what you do is you make the head and the body and the tail, and then you go back and add little puff stitches for each arm and each leg. And I just didn't like the idea of, having all those little ends that you're not sewing, it's still no sew, but you're like tying in. And so as I was making a few, I was adjusting the pattern to make them into like bobble stitches within the pattern or some sort of bobble puff something. I don't even remember what I did. But so like I made one, and then I'd kind of adjust it like where I wanted the bobbles to be, and so I eventually kind of perfected it, I guess, so he'd kind of stand up with his legs a little bit bigger than his arms. But yeah, so I will still post the pattern that I used, but I'll just say that it is modified, and I'll hopefully have pictures also. Then the next best thing after that was chickens. So I sold 4 chickens. These are the Mabel chicken. I was really hoping to sell more because in our town we have a lot of people who own chickens. And so I was hoping, and a lot of them have little kids, so I was hoping they'd be like, oh, the chickens, like our chickens, but people looked at them and thought they were cute, but not very many people bought them. Anyway, so I had a large size, which was the Bernat blanket yarn, and then I had a bunch of random ones made out of just random like acrylic yarns. I did like some made out of like homespun, like a tan color mixed with the normal acrylic. So they weren't all the same size. I just had them priced as like the Bernat size was large and then the other size was small. Anything else was small. So I sold 2 large ones, and this is one of the ones I sold because I sold it to my 10-year-old. This one was her favorite because the eyes are so huge. So not all of them were like that. This is the Mabel chicken pattern. I made one of these for my grandma for Christmas, but in like the black and white tweedy one. My favorite one sold. It was a little one with it was like this furish yarn from the dollar store. That I held together with another brown. It was like a light brown. That one was my favorite, but somebody bought it. That's okay. So I sold 2 big ones, including this one, and 2 small ones. Then I sold 4 towels with the hangy thing on top. I sold 3 bees, 1 large bee, so it was made out of Bernat blanket yarn, and 2 small bees, which were made out of the Parfait Chunky. I sold 2 pop frogs. I guess the pattern is technically Froggy Pops. The ones that I showed you guys that have the heads that you can go up a little bit and then you pop back down. I sold one with that was large out of the Bernat blanket and 1 small out of the Parfait. Other than that, the only like non-animal things besides the 4 towels was 2 coin purses, 1 chapstick holder, and 1 scrunchie. So obviously the best sellers were the amigurumis, so that was a good choice to concentrate on those types of things for this craft fair at least. So other things that I had that didn't sell, I just thought I'd throw it out there, was market bags, necklaces, flower hair clips, and headbands. Those 2 were both all things that I made for the farmer's market, so I didn't make any new ones of those. Popsicle cozies, which were new for this year. The pocket frogs, so the little frogs with just the little no-sew frogs. I didn't sell any of those. I had some anklets, kitchen scrubbies, which I did make more this year. Dishcloths, and then the reusable water balloons. My mom was trying to get those sold really bad for me. She kept telling people about them because we love them, but anyway, didn't sell any water balloons. And but yeah, overall, we definitely did pretty well. It was a little slow at the beginning, and we weren't quite sure how it was gonna go. And I did use the Square, like free Square thing, and use the app and stuff. I did miss a few transactions because I was just doing it to keep track of what I was selling, so only a few people actually used their credit cards with it. But when we went back and I like compared my Venmo and I compared the cash, I realized I did miss a few. Like sometimes we would have like a rush of people all at once, and so I was going back and adding the transactions in afterwards because I didn't want that to slow down what we were doing. If they weren't paying with the card, there was no reason to sit there and type it in while they're waiting. So anyway, yeah, I think it was overall pretty successful. Definitely a lot of stress because I didn't have like a ton of time to make stuff. So I haven't decided if I want to do another one. I almost feel like I should because I bought like stuff for like displays. I bought like a basket thing and like a wardrobe hanger thing to hang the towels on, and I don't know. I almost feel like I should just to make it worth buying those things, because if I took the cost out of all that stuff out of what I earned, like was it really worth it to do it once? I don't know. But it's a lot of work. So I haven't decided if I want to do another one. If I do, it would probably be like a November before Christmas sale. So I would definitely want to make like winter hats and stuff too. So I guess we'll see what projects I get up to throughout the summer, and if I feel like I have enough inventory to do that, maybe I will. So I think that's everything. I have to decide what I'm going to work on next, if I want to. There's some stuff around the house I need to work on, actually. But as far as crochet stuff, I have to decide if I'm going to start something new or get out a whip that I need, the few whips that I have that need to be worked on. We'll see what happens. So anyway, thanks for watching and for hanging out with me this long. And hopefully I see you guys next time. Bye, guys.